Well, I'm at W&B, the APU repair place. It's 10:50 a.m. I thought I'd be out of here by 10 a.m. It's taking longer than I expected. Let's get standing out in front of their building. I've had it out with them a couple of times over some stuff. So they're probably not wanting to deal with me right now. So there's a whole bunch of drama going on today. Number one, the APU is looking like it's going to cost me a lot of damn money. And number two is I'm going to have to drive down to Paul's Valley to pick up an empty trailer at a Walmart distribution center. So the load that I grabbed for Sunday was listed as a preloaded trailer, but apparently it was a brokered load, and according to my driver manager, I should have known that because there was something in some details and some notes on a load that there was an acronym BRK that stood for brokerage, and I should have seen that and I should have known that. And 99.9% of the time, according to her, brokered loads are live loads. So it's not going to have a trailer there already. I have to have a trailer with me. And that's like, I really like my driver manager most of the time. She's really awesome. But she gets defensive with me and starts telling me that I should have known stuff and blaming me for like everything that happened. She blames me for it. And it really pisses me off. So this is all my fault apparently. Everything that happens is my fault. But I told her, I said, we're going to cancel this load if you're going to tell me that I have to drive to Tulsa or Dallas to pick up an empty. And she said, no, you're not. You can't cancel a brokered load within 48 hours. And we were at exactly like 47 hours until I pick up the load. This was at 9 a.m. this morning. The load picks up 8 a.m. Sunday. So she's making a big deal out of me being an hour within their 40, and this is the first time I've ever heard about this 48-hour cancellation policy on brokered loads. And I said, well, I don't care what the policy is. I'm not going to drive 400 miles to pick up a damn empty on a load that pays me $500. She came back to me. She had to go reach out to the planners to find out where I could grab an empty from. And she came back and told me there was an empty in Paul's Valley, 60 miles from here. I'm not thrilled about it, but fine. I'll go pick up an empty in Paul's Valley. So it's going to be an hour there, an hour back, an hour to do the pickup. So it's going to take me 3 hours today. I still hope to get, I'm probably not going to be able to do the Home Depot and the rest of the stuff I wanted to do today because it's going to be after 5. It's probably going to be like real late at night by the time I finally get home, because I'm still planning on going to TA and paying them to install the mirror. So I'm going to have to, once I get done here, which I don't know exactly when that's going to be, I'm going to have to go down to Paul's Valley, pick up the empty, and then go to the TA, pay them to install my passenger side mirror. And then hopefully Home Depot's still open, and I can go by Home Depot and get the weed and feed and the silicone lubricant and the other crap that I need to get stuff done today. I'm not optimistic. But the drama here with this place is that they got me into a bay at about 8:40 a.m. And I went to the driver's lounge and sat for an hour. No update after an hour. So after an hour of no update, I'm like, the diagnostic should not have taken this long. I told them that it was, I gave them all the symptoms, and they cannot reproduce the symptoms without running the APU for like 3 or 4 hours. So they're pretty much going to have to diagnose based off of what I tell them. They can look at a few things, but it shouldn't take them more than like 30 minutes to an hour to look at those things. So after an hour, I started stressing out about the labor cost. So I went down there and started watching them. And when I got down there, they were all over there shooting the shit, working on a reefer unit. And the guy that was working on my trailer saw me, walked back over to the APU and started working on my APU. And then a couple minutes later, some supervisor or manager came over there and told me that I couldn't be there and I had to go back to the driver's lounge. So when I got back up here, I asked him why in the hell I can't stand there. I wasn't like inside there. I was standing outside the building watching. And I do that because these places that charge, crazy ass labor rates, they'll sit there and take 4 or 5 hours to do nothing. And they'll sit around and work on other people's trucks. That's the problem I had at APU Center, the place I was at before this, is they charged me an hour labor to do absolutely nothing. They were over there working on somebody else's truck for a full hour and charged me an hour for the privilege of having my truck parked in their fucking bay. I will not be doing business with them again. I don't know at this point whether I'm not going to do business with W&B again. I'm not too terribly thrilled right now. I'll probably do business with Big Rig Products going forward. There's really nobody here having their APU worked on. They're mainly just doing reefer and trailer repairs. So I don't think they're a very good place to have your APU worked on, given that they have no business. Like there's zero business to have APUs worked on right here. The other place in town that works on these is backed up for like a week. You can't get an appointment for like a week. This place, I'm the only person here. That tells you something. So it's been like 2 hours, so we're looking at $300 in labor, and I'm freaking out over that because they haven't even talked to me yet and told me what the problem is. So they're still in the diagnostic phase, from what I understand. So I walk in there and I ask the service manager to give me an update, and she called the person working on my APU, and apparently they are past the diagnostic phase. They've already replaced a whole bunch of stuff, and apparently they don't even need to replace my water pump. It was just a gasket on the water pump, so they're almost completely done with the repair. And I'm like, well, that's weird, because the way this normally works is that once they figure out what the problem is, they check with the person and give them a quote on what it would cost to repair it, and then they go do the repair. But they're like almost completely done with the whole damn thing right now, which it's the reason that it's up in the air on whether or not I'm going to be doing business with them in the future, is because this could actually end up being a lot cheaper if they're not having to replace the water pump. That thing's $145. So if they're just having to replace a gasket and a couple of wires, and they don't go crazy on labor rates, then I could be looking at a $250, $300 repair instead of the $400 minimum I was looking at. But we could also be in the $800, $1,000 range that I'm really concerned about. It pisses me off that it costs so much to have your APU worked on. It's a lawnmower engine. It's a damn lawnmower. And they charge astronomical prices for the parts and the labor to work on these things. And I think that's a big reason the industry is moving away from APUs. APUs were an enormous fad for a long time, and companies are trying to find alternative options because the upfront costs of the APUs are astronomical, like $10,000 to $15,000. That is enormous. That is 10 to 15% of the cost of the truck. And then the ongoing maintenance and repairs is going to end up costing you several thousand more dollars. Does that really offset the fuel savings on it? I don't know. But it's my understanding that a lot of the industry is moving away from APUs, and they're moving toward just letting the truck idle for air conditioning. Basically that old school Opti idle or idle air or whatever 20 years ago that I used. And they're using battery operated heaters for heating. I don't know what I'm going to do on my next truck. I can tell you right now, I'm probably not going with Carrier on my next truck because Thermo King is more expensive, but Thermo King is so much better. And the price difference between Thermo King and Carrier is not astronomical. It's, you know, yeah, Thermo King's more expensive, but it is a lot better. The Thermo King I had so many more features and worked so much better than this thing. So Carrier seems to be probably one of the worst options for APU because they're expensive. They charge you a premium for the product. They charge you a premium for the parts and labor, just like Thermo King, but you don't get Thermo King quality on everything. So I don't know. It's something I'm going to have to research. I'm not knowledgeable enough on it to make a decision at this point. I'm hopefully not going to be buying a truck for a very long time. But that's where I'm at right now. I'm at here at W&B Service, getting the APU worked on. Once I get finished here, drive down to Paul's Valley, steal an empty from Walmart, drive back up here, drop the empty off at the secure drop yard, city trailer, go over to TA, pay them to install my side mirror, then go to my house. Hopefully Home Depot's still open, and on the way to my house, swing in and get the weed and feed. That guy's hauling ass. Swing in and get the weed and feed and the lubricant. I used what little lubricant I had. So lubricant, what I'm talking about on the lubricant is I have grease, the Lucas grease, like that you put on the fifth wheel, the skid plate. But you're supposed to use like a silicone lubricant on the fifth wheel slide and all the components within that. Well, I used to have a motorcycle, which I sold whenever I got into trucking, or got back into trucking. And so I had all the stuff to clean the chain, because you have to clean chains all the time when you have a motorcycle. And the can of lubricant that I had was almost completely empty. So I thought I had tons of lubricant, but I didn't. So I used what I had on the fifth wheel slide, and I need to get some more. And I plan on swinging by Home Depot to get a couple cans of it. But that's what's going on right now. And I get so stressed out whenever I'm at a shop like this, because it is just, it's a really scary surprise on how much they're going to charge you. I really hate dealing with anything that's an unknown like this. When you're dealing with astronomical hourly rates, you know, $140, $160 an hour, that's $2, more than $2 a minute. That adds up really, really fast. So, yeah, it just infuriates me to like see somebody not working when I'm paying them $2 a minute. It sets me off. But yeah, I'm really stressed out right now, waiting to see what the bill's gonna be, and I really hope that it fixes it and I don't have to put this damn thing. This will be the third or fourth time I've had this APU in the shop. I have spent, I don't know, somewhere in the ballpark of a $800 to $1,000 on the APU so far, not including what's getting done today. I'm not certain on that. Not 100%. So yeah, I had to get out of their break room to take the mask off. So that's the reason I decided to make a video out here, is because I was getting a headache wearing this damn mask. I think I'm breathing in more carbon dioxide than I am oxygen when I'm wearing the mask. So my headache's not as bad anymore after being out here for, a few minutes, getting some damn fresh air. So yeah, just sitting around waiting for this surprise. You know what it reminds me of? You ever seen the TV show Dexter? When that guy walks up on Dexter and he thinks he's busted him, he says, "Surprise, motherfucker." That's what's going through my head, like, of what happens, like, whenever I get the bill at one of these places. They just sneak up on me and surprise motherfucker me. But yeah, today is I'm just looking forward to today being over with. I can't stand dealing with mechanics of any kind. They're shady. Most of them are bad at what they do. They charge crazy amounts of money. They make so much more money than me. I wish I made $140 an hour. It's just depressing to come into a place like this and pay your entire week's wages, or sometimes an entire month's wages, for like a half a day's worth of work. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm in the wrong damn business. So my load, I'm not sure if I talked into detail about my loads, but my load, this load that I'm going to have to go and do 120 miles for an empty on, is only a 140 mile load. It's $800. I get like $500 of that. So it's the total mileage on it's going to be close to 300 miles for $500. Now, if I didn't have to go 120 miles to get an empty, it wouldn't be that bad of a load. But having to go that far to get an empty, it makes it a pretty crappy load. The next part of it is Joplin. No, it's not Joplin. It's Springfield. Springfield, Missouri. I'm grabbing a load going to York, Pennsylvania. Pays $3,000. I'm going to get about $2,000 of that. It's 1,000 miles. It's $2.12 a mile is what I make on it. And it looks like the loads coming out of York, Pennsylvania are going to suck. So I'm going to have to take like a break-even load to get out of there. But I shouldn't have to travel too terribly far, 500 or 600 miles to get into a market that pays worth a damn. So it's not going to be a crazy good week. And I did really consider grabbing a California load. There was one in Spring Hill, Kansas, just outside of Kansas City, going to Lathrop, which is Northern California, the Sacramento area. And there were some decent loads up there, but I'm not ready to get back over onto the West Coast out of USA Truck's normal operating area again and deal with all that drama again. I don't want to get stuck out there again for another couple of weeks. I need to get all my repairs done and get the truck working in perfect condition, perfect working order, before I go out and do that crap again. But if I see a Fontana load, like there was a Fontana load on there that was paying $2 a mile. Now it doesn't pay me $2 a mile. It paid $2 a mile, which I would have gotten about $1.40 on it. $1.50, somewhere in that area. $1.30, I don't know. Whatever I get. I would have loved to have that load, but it was gone by the time I got all this figured out. But I'm hoping that the repair thing comes through any minute. I should be getting a phone call. Like, I was expecting a phone call to interrupt this video, but it's not happening. So that's what I'm doing today. If there are any more interesting things that happen today, I might make another video, but I'm just making this because I'm bored, because I'm sitting here waiting for like 3 hours. So, all right, thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye.